So Year 9 Season 4.3 released yesterday, and on the surface, this was a tiny patch which was said to make the game on PC boot 50% faster. That was pretty much all it said, so I didn't make a video about it, I just made a community post because although it's a good quality of life update, it wasn't really video worthy. However, there has been so many hidden changes in this patch which they did not state, a lot of them being related to the lore and the current situation in the lore, which I feel like is worth talking about. And we're going to jump straight into this, so make sure you like, sub, all the usual stuff. You know how much it helps me and how much I appreciate it. But the very first thing is that Hereford base is completely gone from the game. It hasn't been in the ranked pool for many years now. It is now no longer in the quick match pool and is also no longer in the standard pool. Not just that though, it is now no longer in custom games either. By all means, Hereford base has been completely wiped from the game. Now, this implies a few things. So the reason why Hereford base is no longer in the game is because this is syncing up with the current lore narrative, where the Kudos Legion have infiltrated Rainbow's recruit system, posing as recruits and tearing them down from the inside, with the latest comic book confirming that Hereford base has been completely destroyed. With Hereford base now being fully destroyed, it is also no longer playable. This could give us a narrative reason to potentially see another rework of this map in Year 10, which would actually make this the second rework of this map, since the version which we all know currently is actually a rework of the initial version of Hereford base. And I know a lot of you may be thinking, why not just completely keep it out of the game forever and focus on making a new map? But I do want to say, when it does come to the identity of the Rainbow Six franchise, Hereford base should be there, and if it means that they have to rework it again to make it viable, I think that's fine. Because if you've ever read the books and even the old, Rainbow Six games, Hereford base has always been a major part. Hereford base is the first thing mentioned in the original Rainbow Six book. Then when the sort of timeline diverges into the games universe, which is designed by Ubisoft, Hereford base was the main base of operations for the original Rainbow roster as well. Hereford base is by all means one of the most important parts of the Rainbow Six story and its identity as a brand, and is something which was originally written by Tom Clancy himself, where Rainbow would be operating from, as well as being the base of the SAS. So I wouldn't count Hereford base out yet. I would not be surprised if we see a remaster of this map in Year 10, and they're using this narrative to give a reason to remaster it again. We could by all means maybe see a modern version of Hereford base designed by this new version of Rainbow and have a bit of a modern spin on it while still keeping the classic version as well. I really hope this isn't the end of Hereford base, and if they are doing a rework, I know you may think, wow, another rework of this map which we've already had a rework for, but the map team is different, they have different philosophies, and I think they've actually been killing it with both the reworks and the new maps they've been doing. So to actually see this team working on a new version of Hereford would be really interesting. And I don't know, just as someone who is very entwined with Rainbow Six, as a lore and its identity, I would like to see Hereford remain in some way, shape, or form. Now, let's move over to the next point I want to talk about, and that is the brand new face model for Clash, which has appeared on the Rainbow Six marketplace. It's not in the game yet, but it looks like we may be getting this very soon. Now, the first thing I want to say is I don't want to come out here and be like, oh, this is confirmation that Clash is getting a remaster or X, Y, and Z. They may simply just be updating her face model, maybe for an elite skin or for just the fact to update her face model, because being honest, and I don't know how to say this in a way which doesn't sound weird, I feel like Clash, and her face design feels very late video gamey. It doesn't feel like it's on the same design level as other operators' faces, if that makes sense. So I think this new one, which we can see on the marketplace, definitely, she looks more like a person. That's what I'm trying to say here. It looks more like, okay, that actually looks like a real person. And then when you compare it to the current version of Clash's face, she kind of just looks like a background NPC from GTA or something like that. So this new face is significantly better in my opinion. Again, I don't think it's necessarily tied to an elite skin or a remaster. If I'm not wrong, I think it was a year ago, they did say that they were working on a way to improve operators' faces and make them look more realistic. So I feel like this actually might be a part of that. So rather than it being tied to anything we're getting in Year 10, I think this is just tied to that. thing they were talking about like last year, where they have a new mechanics and ways to make operators look more realistic. And I definitely think Clash was an operator who deserved that, because, you know, I think it's pretty much night and day. The new one actually looks like this would be a real person, and I actually think she looks really cool. I'd also like to see this applied to a lot of other operators as well, especially when it comes to uniforming their look, because I feel like when you compare like some in-game headgears to like the cinematics, which are made by Digic, which I understand is a different company, and that's like a CGI, where this is like an in-game model, but I feel like a lot of the times operators don't look the same across like the media, if that makes sense. So like the CGI version of Mira in the cinematics doesn't look like the in-game headgear from Mira. So this look at Clash honestly makes me feel like they are going to be taking this more realistic route, which they already have in the CGI cinematics, because, you know, this looks much more realistic, and it'd be cool if they could do that with Mira. So like they update her face, so all of her headgears, she looks closer to that version in the cinematics, and for every other operator as well. So for whatever the reason may be that they have done this, I want to say I think she looks incredible. This is a huge upgrade to her old version, and I would love to see this treatment on more operators as well. But yeah, I rate this really highly. I think this is great, so keep this up. This looks amazing. Okay, so the final thing I want to talk about, which was in this update, which I've seen nobody talk about, I think I'm the first person to find this, and that is the fact that Tower has sort of been reverted to its look before the Kira's Legion assaulted it. Let me explain. So when I saw that Hereford was removed, I was like, oh my god, this is probably the first time that the narrative has properly affected a map like this. The only other time I can think of off the top of my head was when they visually updated Tower to reflect the attack which happened. They added a bunch of bullet holes to the side of the tower itself. There was a lot of fire and debris, and they also added a memorial for the Rainbow recruits who died on this assault. So I went to go make a TikTok on this, and I went into Tower, and something I have noticed is that the flames and the bullet holes are all gone. It seems like Tower has been tidied up after this assault. But something that came to my mind was, okay, maybe there was a little mistake in the update and they pushed the old version of Tower accidentally, hence why it looks different, and that's why all the flames and bullet holes are gone from the side of the building. However, that doesn't seem to be the case, because if you head inside the building, you can still see the memorial, which also came in this update, for the recruits that died. So this isn't a revert to the old version of Tower. This is technically now another new version where the memorial is still there, but now the flames and bullets have been removed from the side of the building, which is honestly cooler than it may sound, because this now means that we technically are getting dynamic maps in Rainbow Six Siege to coincide with the lore. Tower was fine before its attack. When in the story Tower was attacked, they updated it in game to reflect this. Now that time has passed since that attack, they have updated again because Tower has now been repaired, but they've kept the memorial for those who died. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do this stuff to any more maps in the future. I think this is a really fun way to coincide with the story and have these visual changes which are only for a limited time, because if you load into Tower now, there is no longer smoke, there's no longer fire, there's no longer bullets on the side. Rainbow have repaired the building, but the map still has changed with the memorial, so there has been some form of progression on this map, which I think is really cool. I'm pretty sure I'm the first person to notice this, so woohoo! But yeah, I think this is a really fun thing to do. It really, you know, helps give life to this universe and to these maps, and I would love to see this continue in the future. Hopefully this doesn't take a lot of resources to do, so they can actually do this in a efficient way and they're not going out their way to do it, because I would love to see this happen to more maps. And it's just really nice, I think, I guess, for me being like a channel who covers the lore a lot, and for you guys who are a fan of the lore, that the lore is genuinely getting like so much connection to the game more than it ever has. And I don't know, I'm glad to see that they are investing in the lore itself, and it can lead to so many new and fun, interesting ways to take this game and things to do. The Year 9 Season 4.3 patch note may have just talked about a faster boot time for the PC game, but there was actually a few more hidden changes in it, and there might even be more which I haven't realized in this video. So if you've played since the latest update and you notice something different, drop a comment, let me know what you have found, and we'll cover it on the channel. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Sub if you are new. Catch you all later. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.